New Edge Sword and Sorcery takes a genre's virtues, outsider protagonists, a thrilling energy, wondrous weirdness, and a large body of classic tales, then alloys inclusivity, mutual creator support, a positive fan community, and enthusiastic promotion of new works into the mix. Hello and welcome to Liam's Lyceum. I am your host Liam, aka Himbar, and today I'll be doing a review of New Edge Sword and Sorcery magazine, Fall 2022, Issue 0 review. Okay, so this is going to be quite a different review than most. This is a 2022 magazine, a issue 0, kind of a pilot for the magazine. I believe sometime in the new year there should be a issues 1 and 2 heading to Kickstarter, so those can be published. Now I will say and preface this with the fact that this is free digitally. You can go to New Edge's website, which hopefully I'll remember to link in the description, and go and download it for free. And if you purchase it physically from Amazon, it is at cost. So you're just paying a small amount, and New Edge makes no money off of it. So this magazine has some great illustrations on the outside, of course, and as well as in the middle. It also has some great fiction and some great non-fiction. And so I just wanted to literally flip through it, which I've never done for a review before, and just kind of talk about some overall thoughts. So maybe you'll hear some of my pages flipping in the background, but hopefully that's not too much of a bother. I will say that I have been privy to the discussions of what New Edge Sword and Sorcery is from the beginning. Since I'm on the Whetstone Tavern Discord, I did not really participate since there were so many people talking a lot, but New Edge Sword and Sorcery is kind of just a new movement in Sword and Sorcery to kind of not so much separate itself from the great tales of classic Sword and Sorcery, but just to say, hey, we aren't, racist and bigoted, like some people were back in the day, of course, which is pretty typical of just about any genre, to be honest. So anyways, we have the first story in here, actually, is The Curse of the Horsetail Banner by Daryl R.A. Oh, I'm gonna butcher this. Quihoge? I don't know. Anyway, sorry. Sorry, Daryl. But this is quite an interesting story that is kind of about a loner. Definitely not your European based fantasy world here, and one that I read quite a while ago. But it is one that I found very entertaining, actually. I think it's a great way to open this issue. I had not read anything else by Daryl. I generally call authors by their last name, but I would butcher it too much. But very, very good. And I like learning about Daryl about the author section at the end as well. The Ember Inside, which is by Remco Van Straten and Angeline B. Adams, is another one. I had never read anything by either of these authors. I know they've written stories together before. This one is very dark, not darker than I was expecting it to turn. It was definitely melancholy, if you could call it that. Definitely doesn't go down, I guess, a typical path for plot. It's very brutal in a sense. And then there is the story Old Moon over Urukad, sorry. Anyways, by David C. Smith. Smith is one I've read a little of, one I'm a big fan of, and this is not disappointing, as this is some good slaying of vampires. Very good, honestly. I'm glad they got Smith for this issue here, because he's just someone you should be reading if you want to read Sword and Sorcery. I know I'm just saying very good most of the time, but I didn't take any notes, so this is very different. But anyways, The Beast of the Shadowgum Trees by T.K. Rex is the next one. This one is very different, actually, as it is kind of about an immortal being. It deals with unicorns, which, I wouldn't exactly expect from Sword and Sorcery, but this definitely has kind of a dark feel to it as well. But, overall, I like the message of it. And then Vapors of Zanai is very badass. It's by J.M. Clark. This is about the hero Kiyembe. Not sure I'm saying that. Kayembe, maybe. but of Sengezi. So this seems, it might be considered Sword and Soul. I'm not actually 100% sure, but this is a very good story involving, again, another outsider, and, well, again, just being a badass and doing what he wants, essentially, right? So, I believe, lastly, we have The Grief Note of Vultures by Bryn Hammond. Never read anything by Hammond as well. I believe she does stories that are Mongolian-inspired. I think mostly historical fiction, but this one is a pretty good, well, it has vultures in it, and they are not typical vultures, of course. So this is a pretty entertaining one. I really enjoyed this one. Definitely, well, maybe definitely my favorite. Yeah, I'll just be honest. It's my favorite one. It's very good. I like the style of it, and I definitely want to read more. And I like this issue, this array of authors. I would like to read more from them in another issue of New Edge. And then we had some cool articles as well, which is what made this magazine even better, in my opinion. We have The Origin of the New Edge by Howard Andrew Jones, who is the guy who came up with the idea of this new edge. And it's Howard Andrew Jones. If you don't know about him, then sorry, I guess. He's Howard Andrew Jones. And then we have a wonderful, which admittedly actually might be my favorite piece in this entire magazine, wonderful article titled Ciel Moore and Jurel of Joiry, the First Lady of Sword and Sorcery. This is written by Cora Boulert, who just won a Hugo Award for, I believe, fan writer. This, of course, talks about Ciel Moore and Jurel of Joiry, which I read earlier this year. Very, very good, actually. This article actually made me quite emotional, so I liked it a lot. It also has a interview with with Sword and Soul author Milton Davis, and then I believe at the end there's some note from the editor-in-chief. Let's see, I think, right, by Oliver, which is Oliver Brackenbury. Oh, and we have another review actually too. Oh, the Open Axe, which I have not yet read, so I haven't really read the review yet, to be honest, but I'm going to read that soon. Yeah, we have some What is New Edge Sword and Sorcery, which is a fun little kind of FAQ thing going on from Oliver in the back. Oliver's someone I've had on the channel before, actually, so very fun overall. I mentioned it several times in my weekly updates as I was going through it, but again, it's free. No reason not to go and read this digitally, get an idea of some contemporary Sword and Sorcery, or specifically New Edge Sword and Sorcery. Thanks for watching. It's been Liam Williams Lyceum. I'll catch you next time.